Hi, my name is Flavio Froehli. I'm the Vice President Marketing Sales for Sappi here in Europe and part of the lead team. Well, that's an easy one. If you go to the end of our booth, you'll see that we're tree huggers. We love trees, so the muscle's got to be a tree or something of sort of looking like a tree. For me, the buzzword which is overused is innovation. Of course, for every business, if there's no innovation, there's not going to be any products. But for us, innovation is the starting point, but innovation without execution means nothing, and we're not going to change the problems of the world. It's never a dull moment. It's been a hell of a journey. I've been in the industry for more than 30 years, and I can tell you, not one year has been even remotely the same as the previous year, with so many things changing, from regulation to consumer behavior to our internal setup. So it's been a hell of a transformation from day one until today. And all I see, it's not going to end. Very simple. I mean, it's as a consumer and as a curious person, you start realizing that we have, the world has many problems, one of which is plastic waste. And that's where we come in, as a sustainable solution provider. I think, you just connect the two dots, and that's where you're in business. It's a very interesting question. I think the awareness and the knowledge of the consumer has increased greatly. So the information sharing and knowledge that is being dispersed through many social platforms has increased the level of knowledge, and therefore the necessity for producers and brand owners to be more transparent in what they're doing. And that's good news, again, for our industry, because, again, we have a very good story to tell, and a lot of the myths that were around in our industry, have been either busted already, or we have an opportunity to actually engage with the consumers and the brand owners to actually clarify and present the great advantages that we have as a sustainable fiber-based solution. Again, I don't believe innovation is the problem. If you were here 3 years, 6 years ago, there's a lot of innovation which has happened, certainly also within Sappi. I think the biggest challenge is the chasm, to go from a pilot, proof of concept type of product and bring it into mass production. The scalability of a product, of an innovation, that's where the challenge comes in the packaging industry, particularly around the fiber-based solutions. And I think that's where a lot of progress has been made. Sappi invested in 2023 millions and millions of euros in a facility that is solely focused on fiber-based solutions, sort of functional papers. And that's a testament to bringing innovations through scalability to the executional part, which for me is much more important, because it's nice to have dreams. It's nicer to make them reality. I guess habits, as human beings and as companies, and the bigger the companies, the more, I don't want to say complacent, but the more comfortable we are with what we have, and any change represents a risk. So this risk appetite, particularly in times where things are getting tougher, people don't like to take risks anymore, unfortunately, because it's especially in these times where you can differentiate yourself even more from the competition by doing certain steps that maybe others don't do. So I believe the biggest challenge to your question is really around the first step. Having the courage and the willingness to transform and make the first big steps in that nation. And I think, and also look at a problem not just as a one-to-one replacement. We're not talking substrate replacement. We're talking about taking 3 steps back, looking at the problem, and try to, with many partners as possible, try to look at it from different angles to come up with a potential future solution that actually benefits the business and the planet. Very important, and I have to go. When you go back to to my career, you would see that I've also done a traineeship. I've been a paper maker, at least short term. So you want to know where is the wood coming from? You want to go into the forest. You want to understand the very basics from Adam and Eve, basically, because then you start appreciating the value that, renewable resources have. That's part one. Part two is, again, sustainability in its own has no merits. Only if you can make it in an efficient way that consumers are also willing to pay for it, then you got a product where there's willingness to pay and to buy. So if you got great ideas, you even have a great asset that can produce it, but you don't know how to use it and efficiently produce something that can actually be used and produced at scale, you have no chance for success. It becomes a niche, and we're not in a niche business. This is, we're talking big. Absolutely fundamental. It's not just in supply chain. It starts with R&D initiative. It starts with collaboration with brand owners, understanding where are their pain points with converters. It's literally, and you see it here in our booth. You see all the different verticals that we're playing in, because every vertical has its own challenges. If you don't understand the pain points, you have absolutely no chance to come up with the right solution. So we're talking to brand owners, converters, machine equipment manufacturers, ink manufacturers, chemical companies like BASF, et cetera. So we're all in, and the bigger and better your ecosystem, the higher the likelihood that you're going to come up with the right solution that ultimately can be scaled. I think it's that's not specific to the packaging industry. If you cling on to the past and don't understand that the world around you is changing, you're already on a losing trajectory. So you got to, if there's constant check of your strategy, your strategic fit, and adapt as you see the world around you change. So I think that's a prerequisite in order to survive long term. And of course, the closer you are to the markets, to the end users, to consumers, the more you can pick up certain trends that you can then bring into your product development and R&D stream. Well, I think this show here, or this trade show, is a testament. I think and we talked about it with many customers already and brand owners. I think what we're seeing now is huge momentum towards fiber-based solutions. We have not solved the problem of plastification, so paperization is here to come. From an innovation perspective, we have come up with the right solutions, and we're here now. And if you go and look at our shelves, we now have scalable solutions in place. So it's no longer piloting. We're at scale, and we have final products, and we have staff and people in place that can help the different supply chain and value chain partners succeed in that space.